Get Rich Slow with John. Well, hey, today I'm doing another Tuesday morning update to kind of give you the news, the lay of the land of what's happening in the mortgage market. But before that, I am John Wolf. There's my license information if you want to get a hold of me. And let's just jump right into it. So, over the last couple months, there has been something like a rule change per week, maybe a couple times a week. And then just the Friday before last was the first time, instead of the rules getting harder and stricter and more difficult to deal with, now they're getting a little bit smoother, clarified, a little bit easier. And I got the second big rule update this last Friday. So for my company, that's an opening up of almost all the bond programs. Most companies completely suspended doing all the bond programs. My company mostly suspended. But now they've kind of done their risk calculations and they're opening everything up in strategic manners. So some people asked me recently about investor cash flow or bank statement home loans. So to the best of my knowledge, those are completely gone. So I kind of just want to describe really quick the different loan types and their risk categories for the lender. So, sort of your least risk category would be like a prime or A plus conventional mortgage. And by that, I mean somebody who probably has above a 720, putting more than 5% down. No mortgage company really stopped doing that except for cash out refinances because those are actually treated differently. The next least risky category would probably just be not exactly quite so good of credit or money down conventionals, but those are still a very high underwriting standard, but it's very streamlined. So they're very easy loans to do. After that, you probably have, in no particular order, sort of all as one big bundle. Probably FHA are the next most risky, probably followed by VA, but not all VA loans because there's sort of like really good credit VA who are just taking advantage of the zero down, and there's some not such good credit VA who couldn't even get a conventional loan. And then you have, like I said, the FHA is probably in the middle as far as the risk category goes, and then USDA is probably decently at the bottom of that bunch as far as risk goes because USDA has a little bit of a higher qualifying standard than FHA for a lot of things, but it's zero down. So the fact that the difference in a loan risk for someone who can gather enough resources from themselves or family or friend to do even a small down payment versus none at all is a very real thing. Because if you think about it, if somebody can come up with 5% down almost no matter how, crime not included, there's a good chance that if they fall on a couple months hard time or something like that, they can kind of do that trick again to get the cash to stay current. Where if you could never come up with the 10 grand to begin with for a minimal down payment, if you lose a couple of months income, if you can't pull from wherever that resource train was before, whether that's a really good community, family, or friends, then, it's more likely. And then after that, you have what the loans themselves aren't necessarily more risky, but they're not insured. So conventional loans are insured by Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac. And all of those government type loans are insured by HUD, USDA, the Department of Veterans Affairs. So even though the loans themselves might be more risky, the the bank is guaranteed, or the investor is guaranteed, a very low level of risk. And then after that, you have what are kind of called the portfolio loans. And there's a lot of different kinds. The most vanilla is basically just what people call jumbo loans. And jumbo loans, the vanilla type, are simply the conventional rules extrapolated up, but not insured. And so banks are really lending their own money. So if that loan is foreclosed upon, things go really bad, the bank could lose a very large chunk of that money, like way more than 5% of the loan amount as an actual hard loss. And then you have sort of your what's called like the non-conforming, or they're not subprime, they're non-prime. And that's where you get like the bank statement loans and the investor cash loans. And I just want to take a second to explain the bank statement type loans. They're really business cash flow loans. They shouldn't even be called bank statement loans. But basically, instead of looking at your taxes to determine your income, we're going to actually look at your bank statements over a 1 or 2 year history and add up everything that goes in and out and kind of figure out how much money you're really making. And the people who that's really, really for are like independent contractors. And I mean like building type contractors. So like the guys who build houses and stuff, because a lot of those people, they can have $100,000 cycle in and out of their bank account every single month. And they're not making anywhere near $100,000 profit. But when they go to do their taxes, they keep all of their receipts. And it's sort of one of those things where, like, on paper, they're really not making any profit. But in all reality, they are, because they're writing off, maybe, I'm not an accountant, but like maybe they're even writing off their entire domicile as a business expense. Maybe they're almost certainly writing off their entire vehicle, and they're buying a ton of tools that are sometimes more optional than they would actually need to be. But because they can write them off, it's like, well, I can, get this new, better, faster saw and get more work done more quickly, or I could give 50 cents of those same dollars to Uncle Sam. What do I want to do? I want the better tool. It's a really easy decision for them. But because of that, if they go by the rules set forth in normal conventional, they have zero income, can't buy a house. But if we actually do the really hard math, then we can do that. And then kind of the next most common version of the same thing are investor cash flow, which is sort of more like, instead of looking at someone's total debt to income ratio, we'll look at just them buying that rental house. And if just that rental house makes sense on its own, then we can do it. Anyways, so more about the mortgage news. So I do want to show you the active bond market right now. So you might actually see these numbers tick around a tiny bit as I'm talking. But basically, the roller coaster ride, everything was happy and normal. Then the stock market got freaked out and realized that there was going to be some big economic upset with the public health situation outside. And then right here, they realized, like, hey, we know that bonds are safer than stocks, but are they even safe? And then it just plummeted. And then all of these ups you see are the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve just buying securities. And the Federal Reserve has now basically stabilized the market right here. So there are up here is lower interest rates. So there are very much lower interest rate loans available in the market today. Or you'd think there should be, like, you'd think you should be able to get an interest rate much lower than this. And right now you basically can, just barely. But you would say, like, hey, John, there's a huge split between those numbers. So what isn't calculated in here is the new risk. There are a lot of loans being bought back at great expense to the lenders, which is costing them a ton of money, and they have to, recoup that by having a bigger margin compared to the bond and what they're actually lending at. And then there's actually been real rule changes. Like, one of the huge differences that is going to let you see conventional interest rates really go down and the VA and the good FHA loans are going to go with them is the fact that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, and again, this is just for conventionals, but the big problem was the first or couple few payment defaults, and then the lenders having to buy back that entire loan, which nearly put a bunch of lenders out of business. There are probably several lenders who are going out of business now because of that. And they made a rule like, hey, because Congress changed the rules and told people that they could skip payments with no penalty, we're not going to super hard penalize the lenders. So at least on the normal conventional loans, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are not going to force a buyback if that happens for like the whole $400,000 amount of the loan, but they are going to charge a 5% fee if that happens, which is a lot. And so that is going to keep lenders from doing more risky things. And it's also going to keep the interest rates from going crazy low because you have to build in that margin. And the VA and the FHA loans are going to go along with it. FHA actually set up a fund in some of the legislation's already passed. And I think VA is going to do something similar, but I don't think that's actually happened yet. But anyways, a bunch of real estate agents and other lenders have kind of asked me what my overlays look like now and how much they've changed. And the general summary is We now have to do a lot more paperwork on verifying income, but the rules didn't really change. Self-employed changed a little bit. And then right now, my company won't do a loan under a 620 credit score, which I know will come to a surprise to most of you, but my company did 550 credit score loans. Also, my company isn't doing jumbos right now. My company isn't doing the portfolio loans right now, and they're not doing any of the less than prime loans, especially not the one day out of bankruptcy type loans. And the variation on how I think these are going to come back, by the way, is we're going to get the caliber jumbo probably first. Then we're probably going to get the jumbos that we actually sell to other investors like JP Morgan Chase and US Bank when they come back. And after that, we're probably going to get the bank statement timed loans and the investor cash flow. And then sometime after that, I wouldn't be surprised if for a while we're going to get our first, day out of foreclosure, day out of bankruptcy, those kind of loans. And hopefully we'll pretty quickly go back to business as usual. But anyways, if you have any questions, please feel free to smash that like button and then ask the question. I'm John Wolf. I am a loan officer in Oregon and Washington, so please reach out to me if you need any help in that world. Take care.